And the machine being used in the hatchery is called incubator. There are various designs, but basically an incubator is made up of a heat source, a thermometer, a thermostat, a humidifier, a hygrometer. What happens is that the thermometer actually is being used in measuring the temperature. The thermostat regulates the temperature in the incubator. Sorry. While the humidifier actually regulates the humidity in the incubator. And we know that humidity is the ratio of water in, or let's say the ratio of vapor or water in air. That is when we say vapor, that's a mixture of air and water. So the humidifier regulates the humidity of vapor in regulates the humidity in the incubator, while the hygrometer measures the humidity in the incubated. Then precautions. When using it, it is important to note that to operate it according to the manufacturer's instruction. Then it's also important that we wash and disinfect it after each batch of eggs have been hatched. That is, after you've hatched each batch of egg, it is important for you to disinfect it so that you won't transfer the infection on one egg or on one batch of hatched chick to another batch of chicks. Then you restrict entry into the hatchery. That is, it's not meant for everybody except the workers in the hatchery so as to prevent infection. Then you keep the hatchery very ventilated. The next machine we'll be looking at is the milking machine. Just as we can see here, the milking machine are used to extract fresh milk from the udder of the cows. The milk is removed from the teat of the cow's udder when vacuum is applied to the outside of the teat cup liner, which is fixed to the teat of the cow's udder. There are various designs, but basically a milk machine consists of a vacuum pump which produces the suction required for milk let down. Then it also consists of a teat cup, just as we can see here. The teat cup which connects the pump to the teat of the udder and stimulates them, and a collection pipe and a container to collect the milk. Just we can see the pipe, we can see the teat, and then the container where the milk is being stored. Then precautions while using the milking machine, it is important to sterilize it before and after milking. And then it is also important that we ensure that there is no leakage in the plant. That is, the hose must ensure that it's not leaking, and then the tank is also not leaking. Then you start milking only after let down. That is, it's only when there is a let down that you milk, and then you stop milking as soon as milk stops to flow. Our next subtopic is tractor coupled implements. Tractor coupled implements can be classified into three groups, which are the trailed implement, the semi-mounted implement, and then the mounted implement. Well, trailed implements, these are pulled on their own support wheels and are guided from a single hitch point. That is, trailed implements have their own supports, they have their own support wheels, but they are being guided from a single hitch point of the tractor. Now we have the semi-mounted implement. These are mounted to the tractor at a 3-point linkage system, but have their own support wheel. Only the front linkage is controlled from the tractor hydraulic system, while the rear wheels act as a support for the implement. While mounted implements are implements which is totally carried by the tractor without any wheel support. All operations of the implement is under the control of the tractor, just like what we have in the mower. When the mower is being attached to the tractor, the mower is a mounted implement. The tractor, all the weight of the mower is being it rests, or all the weight of the mower rests on the tractor, and then it is being controlled by the tractor's hydraulic system. Now we'll now be looking at the tillage implement. We'll first look at the tillage implement. Tillage is the breaking up and pulverization of the soil to prepare the land for cultivation. There are two stages of tillage operation, namely primary tillage. It involves cutting of the soil into slices and turning them over. The implement used is called plow, and while the secondary tillage, I said we have two stages. We have the primary and we have the secondary. The secondary tillage, it is the breaking up of clods, stirring of the soil, cutting and mixing of the soil with weeds. The implement used for this operation is called harrow. What happens is that the primary tillage, after the clearing of the bush from the field, we first do primary tillage, and that has to do with the cutting of the soil, that is into slices, and then turning them over. The secondary tillage will now, when we do the secondary tillage, that will now help us to stir the soil properly, and then any other weed on the soil will be removed. That is, we'll mix the weed with the soil, do proper mixing of the soil so as to improve the soil structure. And now we'll now be looking at the tillage implements one after the other. Mind you, for the primary tillage we make use of plows, but for the secondary tillage we make use of harrow. Now we'll be looking at the implements one after the other, and we'll be starting with the plow, just as we are having it here. Plows are mounted directly on a 3-point linkage and can be lowered and raised through hydraulic system of the tractor. There are two common types of plows, namely the moldboard plow and the disc plow. Now we'll be looking at the moldboard plow. We'll first look at the moldboard plow, just as what we are having here on the slide. Moldboard plow can be mounted on a tractor or drawn by animal. The first plow we have at the top can be attached to an animal, while the one at the bottom can be attached to a tractor. A moldboard plow is made up of a beam, just as you can see here, to which other parts are attached, and the power from the tractor or animal is being applied. The beam is the bigger part. It's like the frame to which all other parts is being attached. Then it's also being made up of a standard or leg, which bears the moldboard and shear. It's also being made up of a cutler, which makes a vertical cut, separating the furrow slice from the unplowed land. The cutler makes the vertical cut, and a shear, which makes an horizontal cut, separating the furrow slice from the soil below. The cutler makes vertical cuts, separating the furrow slices, which separates the furrow slices, while the shear makes horizontal cuts, which separates the soil, the furrow slice. That is, after the cutler has made vertical slice separating the furrow slice, the shear will now come and make horizontal shear, horizontal cuts of the soil, which separates the furrow slice from the soil below. Then it is also being made up of a moldboard, which inverts the furrow slices. Furrow slice has been cut vertically and horizontally. Now the moldboard will now invert the furrow slice and sometimes pulverize the slice in some designs. That is, in some designs, it will not pulverize, turn it, and mix the soil properly. Then it's also being made up of a landslide, which receives the side thrust due to the turning of the slice. Advantages of using a moldboard plow: it overturns the slice completely. It also cuts and buries crop residues and weeds completely. Then the third advantage is that the lower layer of the soil is brought to the surface where it is exposed to weathering. Now we'll be looking at the advantages of mobile plow. It cuts and buries crop residues and weeds completely without leaving any weeds on top of the soil. That is, it buries it as it overturns the slice of the soil that it cuts. It also buries all the weeds that might be remaining on the top of the soil completely. Then the third advantage it has is that the lower layer of the soil is brought to the surface where it is exposed to weathering. That is, the lower layers that are having bigger particles of weathered material is being brought to the surface where it is exposed to further weathering. Now we're looking at the disadvantages of mobile plow. It's unsuitable in hard soil. That is, if we use it in an area where we have hard soil, it will tend to break or spoil on time. Then the second disadvantage is that it cannot overcome obstacles such as rock outcrops and storms, thereby leading to frequent break-off of the shear. That is, if we use, just like I explained the first disadvantage, we use it in an area where we have rock outcrops, the shear would be breaking off frequently, often, and then with that, we have to either be replacing the shear or repairing the shear, and that will increase the cost of production. Then the third disadvantage is that it is not suitable for shallow tillage in the temperate and savanna land. Then the fourth one is that it cannot be used in peaty or organic soils. Now we'll be looking at the disc plow, that is the other type of plow that we are having. This plow consists of a set of heavy concave discs that are set at an angle to the line of travel. The main feature of a disc plow include the following, just as